Hi, I'm Andrew at Baker's Gas, and we're here today with the all-new Dynasty 300. So we just got our demo in. I've been welding with it, playing with it a little bit. It's a super nice machine. So in this video, we're going to go over the new and unique features to this unit, and just go into some of the menu items, and then we're going to weld with this unit today. So just to start out, it's in a package that's a little bit, I don't want to say it's smaller, but it's just different looking. They added a screen, as you can see here on the front of the unit. And instead of it being the old digital readout or analog readout, they added a nice screen, and it's actually very nice, very clear. It's different than the other models, like the lower end equipment that they make. It's a nice screen, but nice package. It comes with the this package comes with the 1.3 Coolmate on it. This one we got with the wireless foot pedal. Now there was some assembly required. I just had to add the foot pedal holder and the TIG torch holder and the gas hose holder and the ground holder. So those weren't bad though, just four bolts. They just tap right in. Actually a very light unit too. So I got it up on the table with very little effort. I mean, it's heavy, don't get me wrong, but it's not, I mean, you can manhandle it and get it up there. I was kind of surprised. I thought it was going to be more of a two-person job. It was not. So it's pretty light. It's actually a small, compact unit. Very cool. So what it came with, we got our ground cable here, a TIG torch here, and then it came with a TIG kit, so one of the starter kits, and all those came with this particular package. But let's jump right into the screen here and see what we can come up with. So right now, I just turned it on. It just comes on automatically, and this is the process that it came up with. So AC TIG high freak start 3/32. So we got our home button, menu button, and then down here at the bottom you can see we got process, trigger, pulse, AC wave, and menu. So new to this is basically it kind of took the old analog display, broke it down, and put it into a screen. It's pretty cool. So if we click on process, we can do AC TIG high freak start, DC TIG high freak start, and then we can do lift arc, which is AC TIG, DC TIG. We can do AC stick, DC stick, and we can also carbon arc gouge with this. So unique to this unit. Nothing big, right? You got 300 amps, so you're not going to go above, you know, you're not going to run a 1/2-inch carbon arc rod on this unit, but still very unique to this unit. Pretty cool. So we're just going to go back up to AC TIG, and you just choose your process. That's a push button there, and it changes it. We'll go up to AC TIG here. Next step is trigger. So this gives you a bunch of options that you could choose. So foot pedal, fingertip, push button start, push button hold, 2-tap, and 4T, 4TE, 4TL. So it's kind of unique, but what it tells you is what's different in this unit. So we got our foot pedal. Well, it gives us a little sentence here. Remote amperage control through the foot pedal. So kind of cool that it's kind of breaking it down and telling you. So if we go down to 4T, because I get a lot of questions about this. So the up down arrows is push and release trigger, push and hold trigger, and release trigger. So it's telling you how to operate the 4T, 4TE, 4TL, 4TM, 3T. So it kind of gives you a little brief description on how to run through, how to operate those, which was kind of unique to this model because they didn't used to tell you that. Now they were on the older Dynasties, so the 350s, the 400s. But a lot of questions arose because people didn't know they were on there. They're in a secret or a hidden menu. I shouldn't say it was a secret menu because, but now they just put it all out there for the open for everyone to use. So we're going to go back because we got our foot pedal. We're going to go to pulse now. So interesting on the pulse, we can turn it on and off, and then pulses per second. We can change into our advanced features, so peak on time, background amperage, so we can adjust all that. Now I'm just going to turn the pulser off because we're not going to pulse on the aluminum, but it is a feature, so you can shut it off and see now it blacks all that out. So if it's off, you can't get to that. So, but just to get back into that, you just toggle on, and it's on. But we're not going to pulse. Like I said, we're going to shut that off. So we got the pulser off. We're going to go into the AC waveform. So people are familiar with the Dynasties. They know that you could adjust a lot of this stuff. So typically from the factory, it comes disabled. So then you can't adjust those remotely. But this unique unit, we can open that up. Now on the older style, you could change those. You just had to get into that menu and change those open, but we can adjust everything. So just to run through, we got our AC frequency, we can adjust our balance, we can adjust the EN waveform, the EP waveform, so electronegative, electropositive waveforms independently of one another. We can adjust the negative and positive amperages independently of one another, and then commutation. Now this was an option that's always been on the Dynasties as well. So commutation is just when the arc crosses the point of 0 right on the sine wave. It's most of them are all set to high. The low setting is very rarely used, but you can do it. So it's gonna it just has it gives you a brief description here, but provides a more aggressive, focused, and more suitable arc, or audible arc, I'm sorry, and then provides a less aggressive, softer, less audible arc. So a little bit quieter on the low computation, but can't be used on higher amperages. So factory always comes with high computations. So kind of a cool, they put that out there in the open for us to mess with. Now, go back up to frequency, I can click on that. Now this is unique to this unit too. You can see I got a bead profile and a tungsten. And so if we just go, if I click on Pro Set, so it goes to Pro Set, now our green arrow lights up. That's where Miller says, hey, that's where the Pro Set feature is. Now that's common on the more recent Dynasties, but now it's on a screen and it tells us. So as we adjust our frequency, AC frequency, you'll see the bead change and the cleaning area change. So as we go up, the bead narrows, right? So we're going to narrow our arc or our bead profile as we increase our AC frequency. So pretty cool. And you can notice the tungsten's actually changing too. So the ball on the end of that tungsten, and it's not necessarily saying it's balling it, it's just saying that it's going to change the form of that tungsten because of what we're doing with the frequency. But now if we go down, right, so an old sinker wave is going to run right at 60 hertz roughly, and you can manipulate them a little bit, but see much wider bead, more ball on the tungsten, so it's a little bit dirtier on that tungsten, but pretty cool. So just to go back to Pro Set, pretty sweet. So get out of that screen, go back, then when we change our balance, it's going to have the Pro Set feature of 75%, but if we change that, you can see the cleaning action around the bead change and our tungsten profile changes. So it's really cool. So it's really interactive with the guy that's adjusting or the welder that's adjusting his machine. So he can actually visually see what's going to happen to the bead as he adjusts his balance and his frequency. So really kind of gives you, it's instant gratification. We know what we're going to get, we know what we're going to see, as long as we have all the perfect settings, right? So if we go above 80, you start to see little black spots in there. Now those might occur below 80, but that could be because the aluminum's dirty or we didn't properly prep it, that sort of thing. But it's really pretty cool that we can interact with that machine. Now we're going to leave it at 75% because it's usually a pretty good setting. So to get out of that, go back, and then we're going to leave we're going to just use a soft square, but to show you that you can change. And now there's 4 wave formations on this soft square: sine wave, traditional sine wave, triangle wave, and then we'll go back to square wave. So hard square, soft square, sine wave, triangle wave. So those were always on the Dynasty. They were in that hidden menu, but now they're out in the open, so we can now we have easier user interface to access those different waveforms. I won't go into the waveform, what each one will weld a little bit different, but we're going to leave it on soft square. And there is a sentence underneath all of them that they give you what, a brief description of what that waveform would be good for. But we get out of that, we're going to go back, and then we're on AC wave, and then we're going to go to tungsten. So to click on that, we're going to open that up, so we can choose our tungsten. Now notice there's a picture here, and I believe it's black, blue, yellow, and it has green crossed out because inverters don't particularly like to run on green tungsten, because that tungsten doesn't transfer electricity properly or as well as the other colors. So typically they send gray, which is serrated, but we can adjust our size. So we can go 1/8 inch and then just general. So if we go above 1/8 inch, but we got 1/8 inch, 3/32, 1/16, 040, and 020. And that kind of gives us an amperage range to run on each one, which is pretty sweet. But we're going to run 3/32, so we got 60 to 250 amps, that's perfect for what we're going to do. And that is actually that Pro set is 3/32. So we're going to run that. We're going to go back out of there. We're going to go back to the process here. Oh, I'm sorry, we're going to go back home. So now we're back in our home screen where our amperages we can adjust, that sort of thing. So pretty sweet. Now if I go to menu and we get into this system information, that sort of thing. So basically gas, it's always been on there, but we set our pre-flow, post-flow, purge is off. Go back, system information, that just gives us all the software, and if we were going to update it, that sort of thing. Not much in here what we're going to use, but just to show you, there is a lock, so you can lock this screen or lock the machine out, and somebody would have to put a code in to unlock it if you were going to have certain things enabled or disabled, that sort of thing. There's a cooler power supply, so I had this one. It's on auto, so as soon as we hit the foot pedal, the cooler's going to run, and it's going to do its thing until, for a certain time period, until it registers a certain temperature on the coolant. We can change the language now to these series of languages. Pretty sweet. They didn't have that on the older ones. USB, so if we had a USB plugged in, it would pop up, and we could it would be for updates or troubleshooting, for service, that sort of thing. Also, if you set up one Dynasty and you're in a production facility and you want to set all the Dynasties the same, you could plug that in, call it out, save it, and then go to each Dynasty, and it would save all that information from the first Dynasty that you set up. So say you bought 10 of these, you want them all the same, boom, boom, you just run right down the line. So pretty cool that you can do that, and now it has that USB and it's easy. We got weld timer, 14-pin E-control, and a sleep timer. So weld timers, if you're familiar with them, we could turn them on. It's just basically for arc on time and foot pedal thing. We won't mess with that. 14-pin E-control. This one's for either we want to change the foot pedal, or if you're going to do an outside remote control. So if you're not going to use a foot pedal, if you're going to automate this machine and put it on some sort of like a jet line or something along those lines to run the TIG torch. And then we have a sleep timer, which is kind of interesting. We can do on or off, and you can choose the amount of minutes. So if the machine's on and they're not welding and they go to lunch, you could set it for 30 minutes and the machine would shut off after 30 minutes. It just unique to this unit. Kind of a nice feature. We're gonna go back out of there. Go back home here. So that's basically all our functions on this unit. Let's give this thing a shot here. I'm gonna run AC and TIG weld with it and see how it welds. All right, so let's give this thing a shot here. I got 150 amps, 75% on the balance, and 120 hertz on the frequency. I like a little bit more frequency or a little bit more hertz, but we'll give it 120 a shot. That's the Pro set. So let's give this thing a go here. Post flow there, I think it's for 10 seconds or 12 seconds. Yeah, runs good. I really did like that. I mean, it's really nice. I enjoy the Dynasties anyway. I mean, I've welded with a lot of them, and this one's really pretty cool. I just love how the interface is so much easier to. So whether you have experience welding or you don't have any experience welding and you want to get into this, or you're a 40-year veteran of it, it's gonna make your life easier with that interface the way it is. It's really pretty cool. I mean, I've been welding with the older ones for a long, long time, and this one almost makes the setup just, it's so much faster, and it's just easier the way it is. So I know I talk to a lot of people that want to weld in their garage or at home or just at their shop, their own home shop, and they want 300 amps or right around there. It's perfect. And now this one comes in 300 amp Dynasty 300, then the Dynasty 210 also has the same interface. So those are the two newest ones for the lineup. So this replaced the Dynasty 280 DX, or both the 280 and the 280 DX, and then the 210 replaced the 210 and the 210 DX. So there is no more DX per se, because all that information's in there already. So the DX was the advanced model with all the menu items and that sort of thing. So this replaced it. But boy, from home hobby to industrial, I think this is going to make everything simpler as far as setup, the processes. I mean, everything on it. So one thing I didn't show you earlier, and we'll set that down, is on this item. So there's one more button that I didn't show. That's the home button as the program. So we can we can save 99. There's 99 memory slots in here. We got recall, save, delete. So I got one set up in there. I named it Andrew. Click on it. It was basically just the same one that we were just using. I just had it set up just to show you guys that we can select them. But if we go into, so that was memory number 1, but there's 99 memory slots. So if you had job numbers or anything like that, you could put them all in there, WPS numbers, and it's just easier to recall that now than it was on the older ones. The older ones had memory slots, but the way it was set up, it was cumbersome to toggle through everything. So this one's just so much simpler. So if you're doing aluminum, then you want to switch to steel, you could program a steel slot for that one in number 2 and go bump right back and forth. But pretty awesome. Then we can obviously delete that one too. We'll go back, we'll go home, and so that's programmed. We're running program Andrew there. That's pretty cool. Other than that, all in all, great little machine. Love the new wireless foot pedals, and I'll show you something I'm going to that I love about them. Is it's no longer a cartridge, it's a threaded bolt, and then there's 4 AA batteries in the bottom. So if you remember, I think this is Gen 3, there was a little cartridge, and boy, those were a pain. Other than that, foot pedal, awesome. Everything about it is really pretty nice. But thanks again for watching. Stay tuned. If you got any questions or comments, please link them below. We'll do our best to answer everything. And thanks again for watching.